Good day, I'm Mr. Mbele for Office Administration Personal Assistance Level 4. We continue with our lessons. Our today's lesson is Topic 2, Applying Basic Principles. Our material or textbook is still the same, Personal Assistance NQF Level 4, textbook TVET First by MacMillan. For this lesson, we are going to consider page 43 to page 51 of our textbooks. Lesson 1, Part B. In this lesson, we are going to look at Module 4, Part B, Forms of Ownership, Advantages and Disadvantages of Different Forms of Ownership. When we look at the forms of ownership, there are 4 different forms or types of ownership. There is a sole proprietor, which is a sole trader. There is a partnership. There is a company, and there is a closed corporation. The sole trader, which is a sole proprietorship, is a one-man business, whereby this sole owner will contribute funds to start the business by supplying his own capital, whether it's from his savings or investment, or borrow some of it from the bank. The owner receives all the profits that the business generates and also incur all the risk that the business incur as well. The business is not a separate legal entity or personality. If the business gets into debts, the owner will be responsible to pay those debts. There is also a partnership. A partnership is an agreement between 2 to 20 members entered into by means of a verbal or written agreement. The members will supply the money and also skills to start the business and to be able to operate the business as well. The profits and losses are shared amongst the members on an agreed basis or percentage that they will agree upon it when signing their agreement. The partners have no personal legal responsibility for the business debt. So whenever the business is making any legal responsibility or there's any business debt that needs to be paid, the partners will be responsible for those debts. Sole proprietorship, the advantages and disadvantages of a sole proprietorship. The advantages: the sole owner is liable for all debts incurred by the business. It is easy and inexpensive to start the sole trader. The owner manages the business in his or her own way. The owner receives all profits generated by the business. The business is easy to dissolve if there's anything that happens to the owner of the business, because this person is the only one who is owning and also managing the business. Disadvantages of a sole trader or sole proprietorship is that the owner invests into the business from his own private savings or gets a bank loan, normally a personal loan, to start a business. Only one person can own the sole proprietorship, and this person will be responsible for his decisions and also bear all the risk that the business will incur. The person will also take a loan and on behalf of the proprietorship, and will also be responsible to pay back that loan even if the business is not doing well. The business is dependent on the life and good health of the owner. So the owner of the business needs to make sure that she's always fit and in good health to be able to run his or her business in order to make profit at the end of the day. The advantages and disadvantages of a partnership. Advantages of a partnership is that it is easy and cheap to start a partnership, and the partners combine their capital, skills, property, interest, and initiative in order to start and operate the business. It is easy for partners to raise loans as they are jointly responsible for the repayment of debts. A partnership is no legal entity, so all the risks that are incurred by the business, the partners will be responsible for them. The disadvantages of a partnership is that if a partner dies or retires, the partnership will need to be dissolved. Or if anything happens to one of the partners, they will need to dissolve the partnership and start all over again. The agreement made by one partner is binding to all partners. If one partner decides to take a certain decision, all the other partners have to take that responsibility as well. Partners are jointly and severally liable for all debts incurred by the business. If the business goes into debts, the partners will need, or the members will need to pay the business debts from their pockets. Partners cannot always make agent decisions because all partners must be consulted first. Whenever there is a decision that needs to be made, partners need to sit down and decide together before they take any business decisions. The company. A company is an association of people incorporated in terms of the Amendment Company Act. Whenever you need to start a company, you will need to register through the government in order to operate or establish a company. A board of directors, the board of directors are chosen by the shareholders to manage the company. A company is a legal entity, which means that it's separate from its owners. Any legal debts that are incurred by the business, the business will need to pay for those debts, and the members are not involved. A company can take two forms. There's a private and also a public company. From the private company's side, a private company is an agreement between 1 to 50 shareholders who are the owners of the business. And the name of the company must end with Proprietary Limited, abbreviated PTY Ltd, at the end of the name of the business. The company is managed by one or more directors, and also the company is a separate legal entity apart from its members. So any debts that are incurred by the business, they are not, the members are not reliable for those debts. So the company will have to pay its own debts as well. The public company has got shareholders and is unlimited and cannot be less than 7 members. It's 7 members to an unlimited number of members. The name of the company always ends with limited. At the end of the name of the company, there must be words limited. The company also issues shares on the stock exchange for sale to the general public, so that they can have shares within the public company. The public company is managed by board of directors, who are the ones that take all decisions on behalf of the public company. The disadvantages and advantages of a public and private company. In the private company, there is no need to publicly disclose much financial information. In the public company, they are able to sell shares on the stock exchange and put them for sale to the general public, so that the public can have shares in the public company. The disadvantages: in the private company, shares are bought and sold by board of directors, and in the public company, they publicly disclose financial information, and financial statements are made available to the public, and the shares are also sold to the public so that they can have shares in that organization. You will need to read page 47 of your textbook so that you can understand the disadvantages and the advantages of the public and also of the private company. Be able to distinguish between the two. Close corporation. A close corporation may be formed by 1 to 10 members who enter into an agreement by means of a founding statement. At the end of the name of the closed corporation, there must be words CC included at the end of the company's registered name. It is cheap and easy to start the closed corporation. Members bring jointly financial contributions, skills and labor to be able to operate their business. Members are responsible for the running of their business. It has a legal entity, and members have limited liability in the closed corporation. The advantages and disadvantages of a closed corporation. The advantages: the registration is easy because it requires few formalities and the cost of registration is lower. The closed corporation also doesn't need to, their financial statement does not need to be audited. There are no directors. The owners of the business, they are the ones that manage the business. Disadvantages of a closed corporation is that members are both owners and managers, so sometimes there is conflict in different opinions on how to run the business. And there is restriction of 10 members, and it limits the success of the business if the members wants to expand. Financial statements of a closed corporation are not audited, and banks might be unwilling to lend money to the business because they don't know whether the business is doing well or not. Thank you for listening. From this lesson, we will continue with the same topic and in the following lesson. Thank you.